Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about how Halo 4 has the definitive Master Chief, and why I think overall he's the best in this game and not any of the original Bungie trilogy or Halo 5 of course. Before you just go and dislike it, please watch the video, and after still don't dislike it, but at least give me a shot to prove my point. Like and subscribe if you do enjoy, and let's get into it. We can already exclude Halo 3 ODST and Halo Reach from this competition because they don't at all involve Master Chief. One's about other Spartans, which is really good, and one I haven't played, but I know it's about ODST who drop into New Mombasa. But that doesn't matter, so now we're left with the main three Halo games. And the problem with the main three are that Bungie didn't really make Master Chief a character. Let's begin with Halo 1. We jump into it right away, and we fight a bunch of enemies off a ship, we land on the ring, and just go about discovering. But we don't really know who Master Chief is at all, really. We know he has the AI in his head that he just got, and that there's a bunch of aliens, and he's part of the military who's protecting the space, the UNSC, of course. But that's really the extent that we know about him. We don't know who he is, what he is, even if he's human, which is another point of why Halo 4 is so great, but I'll get to that later. He does make some decisions, like trusting the Oracle to activate the Halo ring, but he makes the right choice in the end, so it wasn't too difficult. It wasn't much of a challenge. Like, of course, fighting a ton of enemies is much of a challenge, but for a character, we're looking for emotional challenges as well, and not just the heroic acts he performs. Because not everyone is a super cool slaying machine of death, and that's what we're looking for in a character, someone we could possibly relate to in any way. And this becomes the problem in the other two main Halo games. In Halo 2, Master Chief has his iconic return, doing some crazier stunts than the first one, and getting a lot more lines in than before. He talks a little more, we get more of his back and forth with Cortana, but it still really feels like it's missing something. He gives Cortana away at the end, but the problem with that is he does it so quickly that it doesn't feel like any emotion is attached to it at all. He's been with this AI for a bit now, and they've gone through a lot, but he just lets her go so he can go to Earth and stop Truth. This, of course, leads to the third Halo game, in which Master Chief defeats Truth, fights the Flood, then fights to save Cortana against the Gravemind. He eventually does, but there's not really any emotion after that. Like, we save Cortana, that's great, cool. What now? We stop the Flood, we blow up the Halo ring, but there's not a lot of emotion. Mainly, other characters die, like Sergeant Johnson, which is sad, and Miranda Keyes, and Captain Keyes from the first game, which I forgot to mention, and that just shows how little of an effect he had on Chief. You didn't really even care for the guy. You saw him for like 2 seconds as he handed you a pistol, and you just left. Miranda Keyes got some screen time in Halo 2, but she wasn't really connected with the Chief either. Sergeant Johnson, on the other hand, actually was, and that was pretty sad, but then he literally goes and moves on right to killing the Oracle right then and there. It's really quick, and it just happens that fast. There's not enough time to actually make sure that his death meant something, which really sucks for him. But as for the game, it's more of an action shooter, so I understand why they kept the story pacing the way they did. And this leads to Halo 4, where I think they took all of these elements and made it 100 times better. Already in the second level, we are laid out some important parts that define Chief as a character. When Cortana begins to go rampant, which means she'll think herself to death as an AI, Chief promises her that he will do everything he can to fix it. She says, "Don't make a promise you can't keep," but Chief makes it anyway, because he will help his friend, who's basically been the other voice in his head for the last 8 years. This really evolves over the story, but the start is a nice little nod of what is to come. Cortana's rampancy continues to grow until finally it breaks, when Captain Del Rio of the UNSC Infinity wants to leave the Didact to go free as they return to the UNSC homeworlds. This angers Chief and Cortana, who've seen what he's capable of and want to stop him. Lasky, who's also a freaking lad, by the way, I'll explain more of that later, he also agrees that they should give Master Chief and Cortana a chance, but Del Rio disagrees. This leads to Cortana having an anger outburst, which shuts down the systems of the Infinity temporarily. Del Rio orders Chief to be arrested and Cortana to be destroyed, but Lasky and the others refuse, and Chief and Cortana journey off to fight the Didact themselves. Eventually, Lasky comes to help, but that's after Del Rio is relieved of duty, which that guy's kind of a jerk, but it shows that Chief will go further lengths to stop the Didact, and he will follow Cortana even if she's slowly dying. When he and Cortana fail to destroy the Didact's composer with the ship and the nuke they brought, he literally takes the nuke off the ship and puts it on his back, and goes with Cortana to stop the Didact. This man literally has a nuke strapped to his back for the final mission. Like, come on, man. That's insane. But then we get some more character development. Cortana feels that the only way that they can stop the Didact for Chief to kill him is for her to enter the domain. Chief thinks this will possibly kill her if she releases all the rampancy into the domain, but he allows her to do it anyway. There is actually some tension drawn to this because we don't know the result of what Cortana's fate will be. This happens, and she is able to hold down the Didact long enough for Chief to blow him up with one of his own grenades, and then frickin' detonate the nuke himself. He pushes the button on the nuke and blows it up. He doesn't know he's gonna live. He doesn't know what's gonna happen to Cortana, but he's gonna save Earth. That's how good he is. Master Chief has done some sacrificial things, like in Halo 3, where he got blown off and stayed behind, but nothing totally on his own accord. This is the first time it was really all his fault that he would die. This leads to the most emotional part, where he has to say goodbye to Cortana, who used the last bit of her power to save him from the nuke. This is where he has to let his friend go, and not like Johnson, he actually feels an emotion towards her. It's like the companion he's always had, but never really realized. It's the friend that's been with him since the very beginning of this crazy journey, and he can't let her go, but he knows he has to. So they say their final goodbyes, and then she's gone. Don't mind Halo 5. She is gone. We just killed Cortana. In an actually decent way that's set up well and then executed just as planned. Like, we thought Chief was going to find a way to save Cortana. Yeah, but no, this doesn't happen. He has to deal with losing his only friend, and as doing so, he saved humanity, but at what cost? Now he's alone. Near the final moments of Halo 4, we see Master Chief question what just happened, and if he truly is a man or just a machine, something Cortana had said to him so long ago. This is a callback to the other Halo games, but also finally completes their story. Halo 5 ruined that, but that's another video. This really shows him as a person and what he can actually lose and feels for that loss. It's something we haven't really seen from Master Chief because it's generally been an action game series. And Halo 4 finally puts that into the spotlight. Some people just don't like it, and that's fine. But this is an actual character-driven story that's well done. People were excited for Halo 5, and this is why. Maybe they don't like it more now that Cortana's back, but the original story of Halo 4 was perfect in its execution. It made Chief a character, and not just a cool guy in a suit of armor that blasts aliens. And that's what it's really about. Well guys, that's going to do it for the video. If you did enjoy my explanation of why I think Halo 4 has a definitive Master Chief, please comment down below, and of course, drop a like. We're so close to 100 subscribers, so that would be great if we could reach that in the near future. I have something coming for the 100 subscribers, and I have a lot more content coming soon involving, I definitely got to have a Minecraft video out. I'm going to get a lot more stuff out, more gaming, more one-off horror games, all that stuff, and a bunch more theories coming your way. So subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully we can reach 100 soon, and see you guys next time.